The two most likely candidates are USA1 and the Clydesdale. Get ready for the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. Everyone, I'm Scott Douglas. A little bit later, Army Armstrong and Chris Chapman will join me, and we all want to welcome you to Texas Stadium near Dallas, Texas, home of the National Football League's Dallas Cowboys. Today, though, the romping and stomping action comes from the superstars of the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. Today's highlights for the TNT Monster Truck. We'll be updating you on the Bigfoot situation. Remember, he was banned a week ago. Master of Disaster tries to make it 2 in a row on the first ever 3-lane course. And they're having a problem with the hard clay in Dallas. Watch those items. We're going to update the Bigfoot controversy for you a little later. But first, Army Armstrong is standing by with the winner of the first night of 3-lane racing in Dallas, Doug Spanier.
Well, thanks, Scott. As you all know, this week we're standing on the big stars in Texas, and the man who was the star last week, the same event in Texas, took the big win, the Master of Disaster, Doug Spanier. And Doug, you proved something to a lot of people, that being you don't have to run this circuit all the time to be a winner on this circuit.
No, I sure don't. We were doing a lot of practice, beefing up the truck and the weak areas, getting all the bugs out of it, and to bring it out and really show people what they can do with it.
Last week was the first time in the history of the sport that monster trucks ran 3 at a time. Lane choice seemed to be important. Chassis was important. They were having some problem with the air. But you seemed to overcome a lot of adversities to take a win. One of the adversities was an almost flip in that semifinal round. At one time last week, it didn't look like you had a chance to be a winner, but you turned it all around.
Yeah, the semifinal round, I figured I was going to come out of there with a rolled over truck before I got the thing stopped. But when I came down hard on my right front, just staring right at the ground. Got in it and pulled it out all right.
What caused the truck to do that? Qualifying, it didn't do it. First round, it didn't do it. But, boy, the third time you came out, it looked like a different truck.
I ran third gear. I caught third gear going just into the second set of cars, and that pushed me enough to where when I landed, my front tires slapped the ground. They completely missed all 12 cars, and it slapped the ground, and the rebound shot up in the air that much.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what's going to be going on this portion of the program. Let's check with Chris Chapman and find out what else we're going to be looking at today.
Thanks, Army. Here's an update on TNT's decision to ban Bigfoot 8, the innovative new truck that's been dominating the circuit in recent weeks. Based upon information from several other drivers about their new trucks who say that they're going to be ready to compete in several weeks, TNT will then let Bigfoot 8 return. Now the situation TNT is focusing on is rules. They want to ensure parity and competitiveness in the sport. So the first rule that's going to be changed after this week is limiting engines to 500 cubic inches. Then they're going to center on suspension. Are they going to let all the trucks come up to par with Bigfoot 8, or are they going to cut it off there, or will the sky be the limit? Only time will tell. Back to you, Scott and Army.
Thanks, Chris. Let's see what things are happening on the point standings because of the Bigfoot decision. The Bigfoot 8 truck not here. Bigfoot 4 didn't gain much ground last week. She's still number 1. Equalizer, the Automatic King Crunch is the truck on the move. Carolina Crusher and Awesome Kong round out the top 5. Then the Gravedigger hanging in there. USA1 has struggled but is coming back. Buffalo Tremor, Nightlife, and the Outlaw round out the top 10. Now, the Bigfoot story will be one we'll continue to follow. And, this is TNT's way of trying to keep parity in the sport. The NFL does it with the draft. NASCAR mandates rules with restrictor plates. In TNT, they've decided to allow the other trucks time to catch up with Bigfoot 8's technology. Qualifying round competition here. It's the Wild Hair, the Clydesdale, and the Master of Disaster. This is qualifying against the clock. And look at the Clydesdale. A good-looking run for Bennett Clark and the Clydesdale. Wait a minute, Wild Hair's in trouble. And he has knocked the Clydesdale on his roof. Marvin Smith's Wild Hair just left his lane and smashed into the Clydesdale. The TNT safety officials, even Army's down there, several of the crew members, the stadium people are now getting in there to see what they can do to help Bennett Clark out of the Clydesdale. Bennett's moving around in the cab. We can see that. So hopefully Bennett's okay. Have no idea what happened to Marvin Smith, the wild hair. At the end of the run, everything looked nice, fine, calm, and he just ran over and smashed into the Clydesdale and sent Bennett Clark onto his roof. There's Bennett. He is out of the truck, and the crowd sees him in response. Let's watch it again. Now, again, if we were talking, the run seems nice and calm, but now look, there goes Smith in trouble. He loses control and smashes in to an unsuspecting Bennett Clark, who was just trying to get out of the building. And Marvin Smith takes him over and puts him on his roof. And boy, you can see Bennett Clark looks shaken up, but hopefully none the worse for wear. And his wife being comforted and being escorted out of the building right now. And Bennett acknowledges the cheers of the crowd. He's going to go over to talk to Army Armstrong. And boy, we'll find out exactly what Clydesdale was thinking when all this happened.
First of all, Bennett, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay, Army.
You have any idea what caused you? Have any idea it was coming?
Well, right at the last minute, I looked to my left. I saw him coming. I just full throttled and tried to get ahead of him. I thought I was going to get just ahead of him. I didn't think he was going to hit me. And then all of a sudden, he hit me. It started over, so it got too far over. I knew I had to let out of gas.
I'm going to ask you something that I heard a minute ago. Were you aware they cut these ramps different today? Did anybody tell you this is not the same track you ran on last week?
Well, I was aware of it. I looked at the second ramp. I knew I was going to catch a little bit more air than what we did the last race. So, you know, I was expecting a little bit of air, but I wasn't expecting to roll over.
I'm glad to see that smile. We're sorry for the bad luck, but I'm sure you'll turn it around.
Thank you, Army.
The Clydesdale on his roof. And there's the truck that put him there. Marvin Smith's wild hair. And it looks like the wild hair has also sustained some front end damage to the sheet metal at least. The loader is hooked on, and they're going to pull now the Clydesdale back over to all fours. Army Armstrong is going over to talk to Marvin Smith to find out what happened to the wild hair.
Well, Marvin, do you have any idea what caused this? We just talked to Bennett. First of all, he's okay. I want you to know that.
I'm glad.
No hard feelings or anything, but man, you know, there's only one door here, and you both were trying to get through that sucker in a hurry.
Well, what happened, Army, we just got so much speed, we were flying through there. We just had a hard time slowing down. And I really don't know, other than we were both under control. We just couldn't shut him down.
He said that he was actually trying to gas it. He could see you coming. He said, I was trying to beat you to the door. Man, it looked like trying to put a round peg in a square hole right there.
Yeah, I was trying to get off of it. I was trying to stop. I started, when I come off the end of the car, I was trying to come down on it. I just couldn't get stopped. I had a brake, so, I was doing all I could do. You can see the skid marks. So. Okay.
Wow. And remember, that was only a qualifying race. We still got much more exciting TNT Monster Truck Challenge racing, and it's coming your way here on ESPN. Superstars of Monster Truck Racing in a historic battle on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge, the first ever monster truck course that is cut for 3 lanes, but in this final round of qualifying, we're seeing 2 of the qualifiers at a time. The USA1 and Bigfoot will round out the competition in terms of setting qualifying time, but the people love it. The 2 that battle for the 88 world title. USA1's in trouble. Steve Wilkie, can he get it shut down? Oh, he goes into the wall. To the clock. That is the 45-second clock for the Cowboys football team. That's what's behind that wood panel that USA1 just smacked. So if Troy Aikman has trouble this year reading the clock and getting a playoff in time, you Dallas Cowboy fans may be blaming America's truck, because USA1 just smashed right into the 45-second clock. Look at Steve Wilkie. I mean, he's going crazy here, pumping his fist and barking out instructions. And right now, I'm sure just trying to make sure his truck's going to be able to come back and race. Look at him in trouble at the end of the run. And here, you knew he wasn't going to get it stopped in time, as he is continuing to try and keep from flipping over. Remember, in monster truck racing, when you get in trouble, you've got to use the throttle. If you hit the brake, you flip over. But when you use the throttle, you can hit the wall like that. Steve Wilkie's under the truck, and Chris Chapman's going to go over and talk to him.
Steve, what happened out there?
It's quick. You're going fast. I'm sorry, Chris. It just got to bouncing. I don't know. I think I cleared the last stack. She bounced, and I wasn't going over, Chris. I hammered it and then drove it out and tagged the wall. Something I should have done a couple of weeks ago in Roanoke. So I did right. We'll be back.
I understand they rebuilt the ramps today. They're steeper. Is that a factor?
Well, what happens, Chris, after you race on them for a night, the dirt gets pushed back down to the bottom of the ramp. And what they did actually is they pushed it up to the car, to the ramp. They didn't make them any steeper, I don't think. I made all kinds of horsepower. I turned about 7,300 RPM on the pass. Went to high gear, and she just laid it down. Bigfoot, and all he saw was my tailgate. I'm sorry.
You heard Wilkie say that he should have stayed on the gas in Roanoke, Virginia. Here's what he meant. He hit the brakes a few weeks ago in Roanoke, and it was up, up, and over again for USA1. This time, he takes out the wall, but he's still intact. That has to be the wildest qualifying round I've ever seen on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. The Clydesdale's being towed out, but this may amaze you. Bennett Clark told us as it was being towed out, he thinks he can get that truck ready to race, so we may see Clydesdale a little later. Bigfoot sustained some damage in that wild run against USA1. Chris Chapman asked him about the problems with Bigfoot 4.
John, two front steering cylinders bent. What's that mean?
When me and Steve were running, I had to get on the brakes real hard because we were kind of coming in together. And what I did is I got on the brakes too hard and wound the front springs up, and the traction bars hit the steering rams and bent both of them, and we broke a shock and bent the traction bars and just pretty much messed up the whole front end. But we got back together, and the Ford Bigfoot will be back.
So you're getting ready to run again? Are you going to have any brakes?
Yeah, with the brakes, everything is all right. Just the steering's messed up. We got it replaced. Now I don't have any rear steering, but straight line course, you don't need it.
He has to have brakes. The TNT officials brake test him when he came back in the building, because obviously they could not let a truck run this course without having brakes to get him stopped. Bigfoot will take on the Barbarian and the Fanatic, even though he's damaged. He's the favorite in this one. The Fanatic with Arlene Ed dies at the line. Jim Miller and the Barbarian gives him a run, but John Pyatt records the victory in Bigfoot number 4. So these are critical points for Andy Brass, who at some time later this year will bring the new state-of-the-art Bigfoot 8 back on the TNT Challenge to try and win the championship. What he needs now is a lot of help from John Pyatt and Bigfoot 4, just like that, getting wins.
As soon as you came in after the win, you immediately started barking out orders. It sounds like you got all kinds of problems. What's going on?
Yeah, in the first round, got on the brakes a little bit hard and wound it up the front springs. I turned the axle so far that the steering cylinders hit on the traction bars. I bent both of them. We was up there, we pulled the ones off the rear, put them on the front, put a solid bar in the rear, and just then when I hit third gear, it started slipping. I think transmission's going.
So there's a chance you might not be back in the next round?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think so.
We'll let you get out there. Hope we do see you back in the round. You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
John Pyatt obviously disappointed. He thinks he may be done. There's Andy Brass. Andy's here and had the Bigfoot 8 truck in Texas hoping to race it until the ban came from TNT. So now Andy is acting as a crew chief. Wait a minute. What is this? The Clydesdale is back, and the people at Texas Stadium are going bananas. After the flip, Bennett Clark tears off some sheet metal, but he is going to race. Unbelievable. I mean, I just cannot believe that a truck can come back from the kind of flip Bennett Clark sustained in that wild qualifying run against Wild Air. But there you see him. You know, Bennett Clark used to ride Brahma bulls, so he knows all about getting right back up once it throws you. And that's what he's doing here. The Clydesdale is ready. It threw him, but he's back in it again. Bennett Clark will be racing in that Clydesdale, the master of disaster head-to-head in the first round. Look at this! Clydesdale's won it! After flipping earlier, Bennett Clark has recorded an almost unbelievable victory. Boy, I'll tell you, he has made a lot of new fans here in Texas Stadium. They came to see the Bigfoot, the USA1s, the Gravediggers, and now they're cheering for the gutty Clydesdale as Bennett Clark comes back from the flip. Not only did he win, the truck he beat won it all a week ago in this competition when the Master of Disaster was the first ever winner on a 3-lane course. But here in this first round, he is whipped by the Clydesdale. Bennett Clark wins it. And Army Armstrong's with him.
Bennett, it's been a long night in Texas. What's new, son?
Dude, it's a tough night out here.
The truck looks good. You've got the confidence back. They say you always got to get back up on that rascal rider. You're an old bull rider. That's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, I like to ride. I like driving monster trucks. That's just like getting towed off a bull. You just get back on it and go again.
That's kind of a nervous task. You might be nervous, too, if you were 18 years old and somebody told you to hop in a truck that was expected to win the World Championship for the second straight year. That's the situation for the rookie, Greg Holbrook. He drives the Equalizer. He'll go against the Outlaw and a brand new truck on the circuit. Far left of your screen, Kurt Fisher drives the Micro Machine. Another photo finish, this time between the brand new Micro Machine and the defending World Championship truck, the Equalizer. The Outlaw finalist a week ago was not competitive on that run. Let's watch the replay again. And the Micro Machine just built by the Breen boys, John Breen and Bob Breen out of Jefferson City, Missouri. They've got a world champion mud racer driving it, Kurt Fisher, and he gave the Equalizer all he wanted.
Greg, we're keeping an eye on a replay screen here. It looked like it was so close. We don't have any idea who won. Do you have any idea?
No, I couldn't tell. I mean, it felt real good. They got the ramp set up where you're just getting all kinds of air tonight.
What is the ramp? Everybody keeps talking about the ramps. The bounces that are coming at the end look like they're putting you in a whole lot of trouble. What I'm saying is brakes don't work when you're 4 feet in the air, do they?
No, you just got to wait to get landed and get squared away before you can start stopping or you just tear up parts.
We're waiting for the replay to come up. They're going to give us an announced winner in a second. Boy, it is close.
I got it.
You're on the far side. Keep an eye on it.
I got him by a wheel.
The winner of the Equalizer coming up next, the semifinal.
Well, the surface you run on any kind of motorsport is awfully important. Monster truck racing is no different. You might think because these trucks run a big tire that the clay surface they run on doesn't make a bit of difference, but believe me, these guys are having a headache. This clay in Texas is just as hard as a rock. All the drivers are trying to figure out gear ratios, tire pressure, and everything. It may look like dirt, but it's from concrete tonight. It's tough Texas concrete.
9 trucks still have a chance to run on this Texas concrete. First, it's the Master of Disaster against Toughen Up in USA1. Then Clydesdale takes on Equalizer and King Crunch. Bigfoot 4 is still alive, still racing. He'll race against the Carolina Crusher and the Nightlife. The biggest story, though, has to be in the middle. Clydesdale has advanced into the semifinals despite flipping earlier tonight. Here we go. Master of Disaster won it all a week ago. USA1's going for it. I don't know. I really don't know. That was so close. We're going to look at it again on the replay. Obviously, Tough Enough was cooked early. But Master of Disaster and USA1 came to the line together. There's the finish line right there, and it is indeed the Master of Disaster. Doug Spanier has done it. He's in the finals for the second straight week. He's out of his truck, and Chris Chapman's with him.
Doug Spanier is your middle name. Won't give up.
Won't give up. Had a really crummy start tonight, but it seems to be looking pretty good right now.
Spanier will try to make it 2 in a row. And you know, he could leave here as the only driver ever to win championship finals on the Monster Truck Racing 3-lane course. He's the only one that's done it so far, and he's in the final again tonight. Equalizer, Greg Holbrook against the Cinderella Story, the Clydesdale and Bennett Clark, and of course, the always persistent Auto Value King Crunch and Scott Stevens from Woodland, Texas. Equalizer impressively dispatches Clydesdale and the Auto Value King Crunch. So Equalizer will go into the final. That puts the pressure on John Pyatt. If he cannot get Bigfoot 4 into that final, then we know Equalizer will regain the season points lead. So Greg Holbrook, the rookie, looks like he's feeling more and more accustomed to the Equalizer chassis setup, engine power. You know, he used to just race quads. His first ever monster truck experience has come behind the wheel of the truck that won the World Championship a year ago. Well, this is what you call a new kind of reverse gear. Bigfoot 4 does does not have a reverse. He does have his forward gear. So Bob Chandler, the tall fellow leaving your screen, Andy Brass, and some other guys push Bigfoot forward to the starting line. He'll be ready to go. And Andy Brass, who drives Bigfoot 8, banned right now, but coming back later in the year, hopes that Bigfoot 4 can get a big win here and get him some more points. Again, the Bigfoot 4 points are totaled with the Bigfoot 8 points, and they all count in trying to knock off the equalizer. Nightlight and Carolina Crusher, 2 Chevys, will go up against the Big Bad Ford from St. Louis, Missouri. Showtime! They're close. It'll be Nightlife and Dave Wysorek earning a bid to win the championship in the Texas Cup, which is what they're handing out at the end of tonight's final. Dave Wysorek and Nightlife, the lesser known of the three, gets a huge victory. So it'll be Nightlife, Equalizer, and Master of Disaster to decide the winner of the Texas Cup on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. Just a couple of weeks old, and it is a beauty. Dave Wysorek, a true privateer in this sport. He built that truck from the ground up, painted it, owns it, works on it, drives it, brings his family with him on the road. He's in the final. So is this guy out of Minnesota, Doug Spanier, the Master of Disaster, the only man so far ever to win a championship final on a 3-lane course. He did it in the last event here on ESPN. He now tries to make it 2 in a row at Texas Stadium. But they both got to knock off the truck that won the World Championship a year ago, and a driver gaining a lot of confidence. Greg Holbrook, the rookie, driving the Equalizer. This is Holbrook's 4th event in this truck, and he looks like he's feeling more and more confident every time he gets behind the wheel. 3 trucks going for one big trophy, the Texas Cup, here in the Monster Smash Final. And it's showtime! Gets the win. Boy, the kid took a beating in that truck, but he enjoyed every minute of it because Greg Holbrook has his first win in a monster truck final, and it comes with the Texas Cup on the line at Dallas, Texas. The Texas Stadium 3-lane monster truck course is won by the Equalizer. Let's look at the replay, and again, a smooth run in between the cars, and then a beautiful launch for the kid from Springfield, Tennessee. Greg Holbrook wins it in the Equalizer. The truck owner, Gary Cook, has joined him, and so will Army Armstrong. Holbrook's out of the truck. Let's go now to the winner's interview.
Greg Holbrook, what a Cinderella story. Go ahead and take your trophy. That's fantastic. Gary, congratulations to you. It looks like you've again picked you a super driver for this truck.
I had a lot of faith in him. I thought he could do it.
You know, you got to be the quietest young man in this sport, but you really carry a big stick. I'm awfully proud you're here with us. Congratulations on winning this first ever Texas event. Hang in there, son. You're going to be a star.
Thank you, Army. I just needed a little experience under me, and I knew I could do it.
Tell you what, you guys are definitely hot and heavy in this thing. We'll be watching you the rest of the year. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Army.
You've got to remember, he is just going to keep getting better, and he's rolled the dickens out of that truck tonight. Greg Holbrook wins the Texas Cup in the Equalizer Chevrolet for truck owner Gary Cook, and he reclaims the points lead over Bigfoot. But is it a tainted lead? Remember, Bigfoot 8, the truck that got the lead originally, has been banned. John Pyatt, Bigfoot 4, has got his work cut out for him to try and keep up with the Equalizer. You look at the rest of the top 10, and you know that we've got more great action coming up next time with the TNT Monster Truck Challenge right here on ESPN. For Chris and Army, I'm Scott Douglas. We'll see you next time.